Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Helen and today we are doing another light bulb. I already did a light bulb in my previous video. I'll link it down below in the description box because that one has no screen keys and this one will have screen keys. See? Right here. I also made the interface a little bit bigger this time so that beginners can easily find what buttons I'm pressing. So without further ado, let's get started. With cube selected, we are going to delete this. So press X and then delete. And now we are going to create a sphere. Let's go and click on Shift A and you see this menu here. Go on hover to mesh and then go on UV sphere and then click UV sphere. Now we got a UV sphere. With the UV sphere selected, we're going to go on to edit mode. So there's two ways to do that. First, you may go up here where it says object node, we click it, and then we go down to edit mode. Another way to do it is by pressing tab. Voila! Now we have to go into wireframe because we want to slice the sphere in half, sort of. So there's two ways of going to wireframe view. Number one is going up here in the right corner. We are in solid view right now as this blue box indicates. Now we click here to wireframe view. Now the next part is we have to click numpad 1 to see the front view of this. So 1. Now if you don't have a numpad, you will have to do this. So go to edit and then preferences, and then in preferences you go to input, and under keyboard there's a button here, a check mark that's a emulate numpad. Now click that and now you can press numpad 1 without pressing numpad 1. Just click 1 on your keyboard like this. 1. Perfect. Okay, now we are going to select something. Before we do that, we have to click on face mode over here. Face select. And we're going to select the bottom part just like here. Maybe that would be good. And we're gonna click X to delete the faces. So there are tons of things you can delete here, but we're only gonna delete the faces, okay? Delete the faces and voila, here you go. Now with that done, let's go back to solid view. There's obviously two ways to do that. You can go here and click on solid view, or you may click Z and then go here to solid view. Perfect. Now let's grab everything by pressing A and let's use the move tool. Let's move it up like this, the blue arrow. We're moving it up like this. Perfect. Now we only want to select, so this is like the light bulb, the bulb. So we want to extend this so it comes down. So how do you do that? First of all, let's click the edge select. Go up here and click on edge select. Perfect. So here we can click on an edge, okay? Here, many edges, or we can select all of the edges in one line. For example, I'll show you an example. So here I've got an edge selected and I'm going to press Option and then I'm going to press this. So if you are not using a Mac, you would use if you are not using a Mac, you would press Alt and then right click and then you will select this. Now going back to front view like this, we're gonna pull it down by pressing E for extrude and Z to hold it in place. So right now it's like it can go anywhere. We're gonna press Z to hold it in place and then we're gonna drop it right here. Now click left mouse click. Okay, Perfect. And now we're going to scale it inwards. So pressing S for scale, and we're going to scale inwards a little bit like this. Perfect. Now we're going to make some loop cuts. So how do we make loop cuts? Well, there's two ways. First, you may click right here where it says loop cut. What I usually do is pressing Control R to make a loop cut. So I can make a loop cut anywhere here. So I'm going to make two loop cuts here. By scrolling on your scroll wheel once down, you can create two loop cuts. And then by pressing the left mouse button, here you can slide the loop cuts. But if you want the loop cuts to be in the center, then you right click like this. Perfect. The first loop, it's option and then left click. Perfect. And then with that selected, we're gonna scale it in a little bit like this. And we're also gonna take this one and we're also going to scale in a little bit too. Okay, perfect. Now let's make it smooth by using the subsurface modifier. So go down here to the modifiers tab and click add modifier. And then here you have the subdivision surface modifier right here. And sorry, pretty good. Let's crank the levels of use port to 2. And let's tab into object mode. Let's right click, and you see here it has a lot of things, but we're gonna focus on the shade smooth button. Click it and it's smooth now. And you finished the first part of the light bulb. Okay, so now we're going to create the base of the light bulb. So first, let's create a cylinder. So click Shift A and this menu pops out. Go to Mesh and then click on Cylinder. As you can see at the bottom left corner, there's an Add a Cylinder box. Click it. And in the Vertices panel, let's turn the 32 into 12 because we don't need that many vertices. Okay, now click anywhere else. Perfect. And let's tab into edit mode by pressing tab or by pressing edit mode. With the whole thing selected, so A if it's not already selected, we are going to make it a little bit small by pressing S for scale and then scaling a little bit like this. And we're also going to make it shorter. So pressing S for scale and then Z to make it shorter on the Z axis. Okay, perfect. Now we are going to put loop cuts in our mesh. So how do you do that? Well, just like before, you can either click the loop cuts over here, or you can just click Control R. And yeah, you can create loop cuts anywhere here that has a yellow line, basically. So for this one, we are only going to make 2, okay? And then right click. With these two selected, we are going to scale them so it goes upward. I will show you what I mean. So we're going to press S for scale, and then we're pressing Z to lock it in the Z axis, and we're gonna pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Perfect. So now let's also inset the top and the bottom. So first press face select, and then select the top face and the bottom face. And with those two selected, press I for inset. Okay? Perfect. Now let's add a modifier, a subdivision surface modifier, to see the magic. So go to add modifiers and then subdivision surface modifier. Voila. And let's tab into object mode. And for the levels viewport, let's crank it up to 2. Now I'm going to show you what happens if you don't put the loop cuts on. So I'm going to create another cylinder, okay? I'm going to create another cylinder. Please don't do this. I'm just showing you as an example. And we are going to just add the modifier without any loop cuts. So right here, we have 0 loop cuts over here, okay? And on this one, we have loop cuts. So on the one that doesn't have any loop cuts, let's see what happens. Add a modifier, and then we're going to subdivision surface modifier, and then this is what happens. Without adding any modifiers, this is what you get. But with adding modifiers, let's go back to this one, this clean, smooth-ish cylinder. This is without a modifier. How can you make this smooth again? Well, click it, and if you right click, you can click shade smooth. So I'm just going to delete this thing by pressing X and delete. Now with this mesh selected, we are going to duplicate it, okay? Remember how to do that? You have to click Shift D, and then let's move it across the Z axis, okay? Like this. And let's take the top mesh and let's pull it across like this. Perfect. And for the bottom one, let's scale it so it's smaller. So we're gonna press S, and then we're gonna scale it like this, and then pull it up like this. Perfect. So to grab 2 things at once, you click one of the meshes and then click Shift and then the second one, okay? Perfect. We're gonna move it up a little bit like this. Okay, perfect. We are finished the light bulb, the model of it. So now we are going to put some color into this light bulb, so it won't be just a gray nothingness. There are 2 ways where you can go to the materials preview tab. Number 1 is going over here. So remember, this is the solid view. Beside it over here is called the materials preview. Okay, well, let's go back. Another way you can do it is by pressing Z, and then it's over here. Okay, perfect. So right now our light bulb is just white. It doesn't have any material on. We are going to change that. So we're going to go down here to the properties panel, okay, and we're going to go down here to the material properties. And we have no materials right now, so we are going to create a new one. So first, click on this mesh and create a new material. We're going to name this material as light bulb plastic. I'm not sure what that is. Plastic, yes, okay. As you can see, there's a lot of things happening right here. The only thing that you should worry yourself about is just the base color. So let's change the base color. Let's change it to red, for example. Let's click on another part of the light bulb, and let's create a new material. Let's call this light bulb 2. Yeah, it doesn't matter. For the base color, let's do something like blue. And now let's click on the bulb, and we're gonna create another one. And the bulb, we're gonna call this the bulb. And we're gonna change the base color to something like green. Now, of course, we don't want our light bulb to be this multicolored thing. We want it to look like a light bulb. So first, let's click the green, okay? We're gonna change this into a glass material. So first, we're going to base color, and we're going to put it as pure white. So let's turn the saturation all the way down to 0, okay? So it's back in the center again, right? And let's, you see this like grayscale? Let's put it to white, pure white. Okay, perfect. So that was step number 1, is by changing the base color to pure white, okay? Now, step number 2 is the roughness, okay? The roughness. We are going to change the roughness all the way down to 0. See? Now you see this like shiny white, sort of like ceramic bowls, if you know what I'm talking about. So we have the roughness, turn it down to 0. Step number 3 is to turn the transmission all the way up to 1, like this. Perfect. And now we have a glass. Now, of course, this doesn't look like glass because we're still on the materials preview, but when we render this out, it will look exactly like glass. Now let's go back down here. Let's click on the red material right here, and let's turn this to like black. We're gonna turn the saturation all the way down to 0, okay? And we're going to, on the grayscale right here, we're gonna turn it all the way down to black. And we're gonna do the same thing, okay? Now, we can do that. We can like, change the purple into a black, or we can go here and we can pick either the bulb or the light bulb plastic. Now, we don't want this. We want the light bulb plastic. Perfect. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll try to reply to them and give my best explanation if it's something related to this video. If I can't explain in the comment section, I will create another video, and in the video I will explain the steps on how I do that thing. I hope this video was very informative and hopefully you learned a thing or two in Blender. I also made another video called the Banker's Lamp Blender tutorial, where I create a banker's lamp where you can put this light bulb that we made in this video in that lamp. So check it out. I'll leave it in the card above me and also in the description box below. I also have an Instagram 3D art account, which I'll also link in the description box down below. The Instagram name is Helen Mellon 3D Art. Hope you check it out. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video and also found it helpful. Subscribe because I will be making more of these absolute beginner Blender tutorials, Blender time lapses, and everything Blender. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!